Vitamin A is far less well known than vitamin D, even though it's just as important for our health. Few people pay attention to it because the official stance is that most of us get enough. But is that really true? In today's video, you will learn why vitamin A matters, how to make sure you are getting enough, and what to watch out for. Let's start with why we need it. Vitamin A is essential for vision. A classic deficiency sign is night blindness, poor vision at dusk or in the dark. Dry eyes, foamy whitish spots, and other corneal changes can also indicate a deficiency. Sadly, severe vitamin A deficiency can lead to blindness, and even today, nearly 500,000 children in developing countries go blind each year for this reason, which is why many countries have introduced periodic high-dose supplementation. Beyond vision, vitamin A is crucial for the immune system. Cod liver oil, rich in vitamins A and D, has been used in traditional medicine for centuries against upper respiratory tract infections, and modern data supports this. Deficiency of either vitamin raises infection risk, while a good status is protective. Vitamin A is also key for the health of the skin and mucous membranes, our first line of defense against pathogens, and it supports the production and function of white blood cells. Modern scientific research backs up these old observations. In one Chinese study, children deficient in vitamin A were up to 7 times more likely to develop upper respiratory tract infections. Other studies have shown benefits in diarrheal disease and in children with measles, while deficiency worsened the outcomes. Beyond immunity, vitamin A is indispensable for healthy growth in children. It supports bone formation and later, normal hormonal maturation. In one interesting study, combining vitamin A with iron jump-started growth and puberty in constitutionally delayed boys just as effectively as testosterone replacement therapy. Vitamin A is already needed during pregnancy for normal fetal development. I know. Many people think vitamin A is dangerous during pregnancy. That's not exactly true, but we will come back to it shortly. A less well-known fact: together with iodine and selenium, vitamin A helps with iodine uptake, supports thyroid hormone production, and influences TSH secretion, and its deficiency can damage thyroid structure and lead to hormonal imbalances. Human studies show that supplementation, both in iodine-deficient children and in adult women with thyroid disorders, improved thyroid hormone balance, reduced goiter and TSH levels, and also increased T3. Some studies suggest our vitamin A status can also affect mood, likely through its effect on neurotransmitters such as dopamine and serotonin, and possibly through the modulation of inflammation. So how can we make sure we get enough? In foods, vitamin A appears in two main forms: animal-derived retinol, which is the real vitamin A, and plant-derived carotenoids that we can convert into vitamin A. Deficiency is more rare in developed countries, but it can still happen if someone eats very little animal food or has a poor conversion of keratin to retinol due to genetics. By far, the richest source is liver. That's where vitamin A is stored, so eating liver even once every week or other week as part of a balanced diet will almost certainly cover your vitamin A needs. Dairy products, eggs, and seafood also contain vitamin A, but far less than liver. Among plant foods, orange and dark green vegetables tend to be the highest sources in carotenoids. However, compared to retinol, you need a lot more to get the same effect. Roughly 6 units of beta-carotene or 12 units of other carotenoids equal 1 unit of retinol, and because of genetics, many people may convert it even less efficiently. Unfortunately, food charts often ignore this and treat carotenoids as if they were equal to retinol. Certain gut diseases or malabsorption problems can also reduce the uptake of both retinol and also carotenes, increasing the risk of its deficiency. The best approach is to eat liver occasionally and include carotenoid-rich vegetables regularly. If you follow a plant-based diet, it can help to supplement a small amount of retinol palmitate, which is not derived from animal products, so it is suitable for vegans as well. You may have heard that vitamin A is extremely dangerous because it's fat-soluble and easy to overdose, right? Let's see how risky it really is. It's true that vitamin A can be overdosed, and because it's stored in the liver, we can't get rid of it easily, so it can accumulate. But reaching toxicity requires extreme amounts that are practically impossible to get from regular foods. Vitamin A poisoning was first noted on Arctic expeditions. After eating polar bear liver, explorers reported severe illness, nausea, headaches, and skin peeling. Lab analysis later showed that polar bear liver contains about 100,000 international units of vitamin A per gram, more than 30 times the recommended intake each gram, and they certainly weren't just eating a few grams of it, which could have delivered around 10 million IUs in one sitting. The livers available for us in supermarkets contain orders of magnitude less vitamin A, so overdosing from foods basically never happens. Chronic excess can be an issue, and lower doses over time, usually from supplements, can also cause issues. However, the context and details matter a lot, but they aren't usually talked about. Vitamin A, as retinol acetate or in water-miscible emulsions, can cause toxicity much faster, and at roughly 1/10 the dose of the natural retinol palmitate. With these riskier forms of vitamin A, taking about 2 to 3 times the recommended intake for a few weeks may be enough to cause issues, whereas with the natural forms, it typically takes 20 to 30 times the recommended intake, taken for months or even years, and likely even more if vitamin D is also supplemented. There's no point in taking far more than needed, so the key is to stay within the recommended amounts. In the past, vitamin A supplementation sometimes caused issues because multivitamins often contained relatively high amounts of those more problematic forms of vitamin A, while vitamin D was usually missing. Today, it's usually the reverse. Many people take high-dose vitamin D, while their vitamin A intake is very low. That can also be an issue because good status of both vitamins is needed for their receptors to pair and activate certain genes. Vitamins A and D co-regulate gene expression through their receptors, which is why maintaining their balance matters a lot. On the topic of excess, some retinol derivatives are used as medications for skin conditions and even certain cancers. Some of these synthetic retinoids taken orally for skin conditions are indeed very dangerous and can cause serious birth defects, as well as increasing miscarriage risk. But it's important to note that these are completely different from natural retinol. So what about vitamin A intake during pregnancy? High doses can possibly be harmful, but vitamin A is also essential for normal fetal development, and some reviews have even found a reduced risk of certain birth defects with supplementation. The practical takeaway, which is aligned with the official guidelines, is that during pregnancy, no one should exceed 10,000 international units per day, especially not in the first trimester. For that reason, it's best to avoid liver during this time or keep it to very small amounts like a little liver pate while not exceeding the limit. Finally, let's look at 2 popular myths about vitamin A. The first, you can't overdose on beta-carotene, so it's better to take that instead of retinol. It's true, beta-carotene won't cause hypervitaminosis A, but the claim is still a bit misleading. High beta-carotene intake can turn your skin orange, which is harmless in itself, but is a sign of excess. More concerning, however, is that in several clinical trials among smokers, high-dose synthetic beta-carotene didn't reduce lung cancer risk, it actually increased it, even performing worse than retinol in one study. It's possible that very high beta-carotene levels could even induce a functional vitamin A deficiency in tissues. Important caveat, this only applies to high-dose beta-carotene supplements, not the natural mix of carotenoids that are also found in foods, which seem to be protective. The second myth is that vitamin A blocks vitamin D, so they shouldn't be taken together. In realistic amounts, they don't block each other's absorption. Taking them together can actually be beneficial. A clinical trial showed that combined supplementation raised blood levels of both vitamins and enhanced their health benefits. The key is not to megadose one of the vitamins in isolation, which can worsen the deficiency of the other. If you don't eat liver regularly, just make sure you supplement vitamin A in similar amounts as vitamin D3. If you liked the video and found it useful, share it with someone who you think might benefit from it. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments below.